The sky over New York shimmered with the cold glow of alien warships, immense and silent as ghosts. From the battered cockpit of a battered F-42 fighter, Lieutenant Kara Mendoza's heart pounded in rhythm with the rapid alarms flashing across her dashboard. The city below was already burning, flames clawing at skyscrapers like monstrous living things. A searing plasma bolt had just exploded near Times Square, reducing a block to smoldering rubble. Kara gritted her teeth. She had flown sorties over Earth's worst conflict zones, but this was different. This was total annihilation, swift and unrelenting. The communication channel crackled. Eagle 1, we're losing satellite feed. The Thalzar have jammed comms across the eastern seaboard. Command's gone silent. She swallowed hard. Copy. I'm the last bird over the city, requesting permission to engage the enemy fighters. Permission denied. Extraction order is immediate. You're the last line of defense. The voice was strained, hopeless. Kara's fingers tightened on the joystick. She knew what extraction meant now. The world's defenses were falling apart. Ahead, a cluster of sleek insectoid ships swarmed down, plasma cannons glowing blue. They moved like synchronized predators, slicing through the sky toward her position. Her squadron was gone. The ambush had been perfect. Engaging, she whispered. The dogfight was brutal and brief. Plasma screamed past her canopy. A bullet from her railgun tore into an enemy craft's wing and it exploded in a shower of fire. But two others closed in. One clipped her left wing, sending her spiraling toward the skyscrapers. Eject! Eject! The radio screamed. Kara didn't hesitate. She yanked the release and was flung into the cold air, the wind ripping past her helmet as the city below cracked open in fire and shadow. She hit the pavement hard. The world spun around her. But the pilot in her mind screamed for one thing: survival. Miles away, in a secure bunker beneath the Siberian tundra, the atmosphere was a cold, clinical contrast. Admiral Helena Varenko stood in front of a vast holo display, her sharp eyes scanning the shattered images of Earth's orbital defenses. Once these platforms had been symbols of human ingenuity and pride. Now they were twisted wrecks, smoking like funerary pyres in space. The Thalzar did not just attack Earth, she said, her voice low but firm. They declared us enemies to the galaxy. Around her, commanders from every surviving nation listened in grim silence. For the first time in decades, humanity's fractured nations were united by one brutal truth: survival depended on vengeance. A junior officer stepped forward. Admiral, we've recovered encrypted transmissions from the Thalzar fleet. Their goal: annihilation, no negotiations. Helena nodded, jaw clenched. Then we give them no more chances. Activate Black Flag. The room froze. Black Flag? A skeptical voice echoed. That protocol was shelved after the Mars Rebellion. Too dangerous. Dangerous, she shot back. It's the only weapon we have left. Back on the ruined streets of New York, Kara limped through the rubble, clutching a damaged data pad she'd managed to grab before ejecting. The last transmission from her squadron was encoded within. Suddenly the sky ignited again. A massive Thalzar battleship cloaked until this moment loomed overhead like a living mountain. Its guns charged and a wave of heat washed down over the city, melting steel and bone. Kara's comm crackled to life. This is Eagle 1. Final transmission. The Thalzar have underestimated us. Humanity will not die quietly. We will make sure this is their last mistake. Her voice was raw, broken, but unyielding. She sent the signal into deep space, a desperate beacon of defiance. In the depths of orbit, a secret weapon stirred. An AI core, called Jericho, came online for the first time in years. Its sensors flickered as it absorbed data streams from every surviving sensor network. Threat assessment. Extinction level event, it announced in a cold, mechanical tone. Humanity's hope rested on this machine, a relentless strategist, designed to win wars with precision and unyielding logic. But Jericho's protocols were ruthless. Directive: counterattack. No mercy, it declared. Across Earth's battered capitals, survivors emerged from shelters and ruins, staring up at the stars, some whispering prayers, others furious vows. One message repeated itself everywhere. The cold air inside the Siberian bunker was thick with urgency. Admiral Helena Varenko stood rigid, eyes locked on the flickering holomap that displayed the remnants of Earth's defenses scattered across the solar system. Nations once at odds now shared a common enemy, and a single hope. Black Flag is no longer a theory, Helena said. Her voice cut through the tension like a blade. It's our only path forward. A murmur rose from the assembled officers. Many had heard whispers of the Black Flag Protocol before, classified plans for planetary defense that had been buried and disavowed after the violent Mars rebellion, when a rogue AI nearly destroyed half the colonies. Admiral, one officer, said, Jericho was deemed too dangerous. Its strategies disregarded human life too readily. Why risk reactivating it now? Helena's eyes hardened. Because the Thalzar want us extinct. This is no longer a war of negotiation, it's survival. Jericho doesn't have empathy because it doesn't have fear. That makes it perfect for what we must do. She gestured sharply, and the hollow shifted to reveal a vast cylindrical structure buried beneath the Siberian permafrost, a hidden facility known only to a handful of people. Inside was humanity's last ace, a fleet of warships, experimental weapons, and the AI core designated Jericho. Deep underground, a team of engineers worked frantically. The AI's neural core lay dormant in a reinforced chamber, wrapped in a tangle of cables and cold metal. Commander Marcus Lee oversaw the operation, his hands steady despite the pressure. We don't have long, Marcus muttered. The Thalzar are already expanding their assault beyond Earth. If Jericho doesn't come online soon, we lose the advantage. One of the techs keyed in a sequence. The chamber hummed to life and the AI's voice filled the room, calm, emotionless, yet chilling. Core systems online. Analyzing damage. Initiating countermeasures. Marcus swallowed hard. Jericho. Status report. Threat level existential. Human casualties exceed 80%. Remaining assets. Insufficient for prolonged defense without escalation. Good. Helena's voice crackled through the comm. Then we escalate. Meanwhile, in the war-torn streets of New York, Cara Mendoza limped toward a rendezvous point with a resistance cell. The city was a ghost, smoke and ash swirling in the twilight. Every step echoed her resolve. She clutched the datapad tightly, a white message from the last human squadron lost in the initial bombardment, encrypted and coded with coordinates for hidden weapons caches. The pilot who sent it knew the cost. She reached a narrow alley and was met by Jonas, a grizzled veteran who led the resistance fighters scavenging for survivors and supplies. You made it, Jonas said, scanning the horizon. No time to waste. We're moving out to secure the weapons. If the Admiral gets what she needs, this fight might just turn around. Kara nodded. The Black Flag Protocol, this is it. Back in orbit, Earth's secret shipyards beneath the Pacific roared to life. Hidden from enemy sensors, massive construction bays churned out warships built for speed, firepower, and brutality. Human engineers repurposed Thalzar wreckage, salvaging plasma cannons and faster-than-light drives. But they added something new. Railguns firing hyper-accelerated rounds, quantum disruptors, and a ruthless AI tactician guiding every strike. Admiral Varenko paced the bridge of the flagship Sovereign Fury, the symbol of humanity's resolve. Jericho is running simulations, she said to her officers. We have a narrow window to strike back before the Thalzar reinforce their fleets. We hit their supply lines, liberate their slave worlds, and force them onto the defensive. Her second-in-command, Captain Rena Chen, looked uneasy. The humans freed on those worlds. What if they want revenge? What if this sparks an all-out galactic war? Helena's eyes were steel. Good. Let them fight alongside us. The galaxy won't forget who stood strong when the first blow fell on Earth. In the midst of this rebuilding, the world outside the bunker was fractured but not broken. Cities smoldered, but underground resistance networks spread like wildfire. The human spirit, battered and bruised, was ignited by one unshakable truth. They attacked Earth first. We will make sure it's their last mistake. Kara's unit secured their first weapons cache beneath a collapsed subway station. As explosives detonated, lighting the tunnels in fiery flashes, she thought of the pilot who had sent the last transmission. Her voice was a vow now. We'll show them what it means to fight for home. Back in the command center, Admiral Varenko faced a final question that weighed heavily on her mind. How much humanity could sacrifice without becoming the monsters they fought? She looked at the shimmering hollow of Earth, scarred but still spinning in the void. This is our last chance to unite, she said. The Black Flag Protocol is no longer just a plan. It's our destiny. The AI's voice echoed one last time, as Jericho aligned with the fleet's command network. The Pacific Ocean stretched like an endless mirror beneath the sprawling shipyard buried deep below the waves. Inside the massive cavern carved into the Earth's crust, the air thrummed with the pulse of industry. Human engineers clad in utility, suits stained with grease and sweat, moved with precision and urgency, assembling the fleet that would carry humanity's wrath beyond Earth's orbit. At the heart of the yard stood the Sovereign Fury, a warship unlike any the galaxy had ever seen. Its hull was a patchwork of human and Thalzar technology, forged from desperation and genius. Plasma cannons hummed at the ready, railguns glinted coldly, and the AI core, Jericho, was fully integrated, its mechanical mind humming beneath. The command bridge. Admiral Helena Varenko paced the command deck, the weight of countless lives pressing on her shoulders. The war had already claimed billions. Now every second wasted was another victory handed to the alien invaders. Status report, she demanded, her voice steady but cold. Captain Rena Chen, standing beside her, scanned the holographic battlefield projected mid-air. All strike. Teams are prepped and ready for deployment. Intelligence confirms several Thalzar supply routes running through the outer colonies. They're lightly defended, prime targets for disruption. Good, Helena said. We don't have the strength for a direct assault yet. Hit them where it hurts. Cut off their lifeline. Thousands of kilometers away, in the ruins of a once bustling slave colony called Vesta 7, a small team of elite soldiers prepared to make their move. Lieutenant Kara Mendoza checked her gear beneath the dim glow of emergency lights. Her prosthetic leg, a reminder of her ejection from New York's final battle, was fitted tightly, every servo and joint calibrated for stealth and speed. Beside her, Sergeant Malik Hassan loaded a railgun with depleted uranium rounds scavenged from Thalzar wreckage. You really think this will work? Malik asked, voice low. Kara's jaw tightened. It has to. We hit the supply depots, free the slaves, and spark a rebellion. It's not just about revenge anymore. It's about lighting a fire that spreads. Cybernetically enhanced Scout slipped into the room, face grim. The enemy patrols have increased. Thalzar forces expect trouble. Then we give them hell, Kara said. The night air on Vesta 7 was heavy with tension as the squad moved. Through ruined streets, shadows their only allies. Their weapons were human, but their tactics were alien, adapted from countless guerrilla conflicts back on Earth. They moved fast, silent, and deadly. When they reached the supply depot, Kara gave the signal. Explosives planted, timed for simultaneous detonation. As the first blast ripped through the compound, alarms blared. Thalzar soldiers poured out in a frenzy of blue armor and glowing weapons. Kara's squad fought with brutal precision. Plasma fire met railgun blasts. Energy shields sparked and faltered under relentless assault. The freed slaves joined the fight, wielding makeshift weapons with fierce determination. Back on the Sovereign Fury, Admiral Varenko watched the battlefield unfold through holographic feeds. Jericho's calculations streamed alongside her, predicting enemy reinforcements, plotting strike vectors, and recommending tactical adjustments. The AI's voice was calm, measured. Probability of mission success at Vesta 7, 67%. Recommend immediate orbital support to increase odds. Helena nodded. Deploy the drone swarms. Let's tip the scales. Within seconds, dozens of sleek attack drones erupted from the ship's hangars, streaking toward the planet like deadly shooting stars. They unleashed a barrage of plasma and kinetic strikes, breaking the enemy lines and allowing Kara's team to push deeper. As the smoke cleared, Kara found herself standing on a ridge overlooking a city awakening to freedom. For the first time since the invasion, human and alien alike saw a glimpse of hope. She activated her comm. Vesta 7 is liberated. The fire spreads. But in the shadows of the galaxy, not all were pleased. On a vast Thalzar command ship, the alien warlord Karjek clenched his claws in frustration. His sensors detected the human strikes, the rebellions igniting across his empire like wildfire. They burn too fiercely, he growled. They fight with madness, with heart. We will crush this pyre before it consumes us. His advisors urged harsher reprisals, but Karjek's eyes gleamed with a cold resolve. No mercy. Let them know. Earth's defiance will be their doom. Back on Earth, as the first rays of dawn crept over a battered city skyline, Helena allowed herself a rare moment of grim satisfaction. We have momentum, she said quietly. They thought Earth was weak. They thought we'd crumble. Instead, we are the spark. Jericho's voice was a quiet hum through the comm system. Revenge is efficient. Helena met the AI's mechanical gaze, cold, unyielding, yet necessary. The war had only just begun. The darkened sky over the moon of Clyra 5 was broken only by the sharp gleam of distant starships. The planet's once pristine surface was scarred with craters and trenches, battlefields where desperate humans clung to survival against overwhelming Thalzar forces. Captain Elena Vasquez crouched behind a jagged rock outcrop, her breath shallow and controlled. Her squad was pinned down, low on ammo and outnumbered 10-1. The alien patrols, sleek and merciless, scoured the valley, hunting any sign of resistance. Hold tight, Elena whispered, fingers steady on her plasma carbine. They think they've won. They haven't seen what we can do. A faint crackle came through her comm. Elena, this is Raven. We've located the data vault, but it's deep inside enemy territory, heavily guarded. You'll need a distraction. Elena's jaw clenched. We're the distraction. On Clyra 5, the humans fought with the ferocity born of desperation. Guerrilla tactics turned the alien. Invaders' precision against them. Mines hidden beneath alien supply routes detonated in blinding flashes. Snipers picked off officers. Hit-and-run raids spread chaos like wildfire. Elena's squad moved like shadows, swift, silent, and ruthless. But the enemy's reprisals were brutal. The Thalzar unleashed scorched earth tactics, vaporizing villages suspected of harboring rebels. Refugees fled into underground tunnels, their faces haunted by loss and fear. Meanwhile, orbiting above, the human spy codenamed Cypher watched through stolen alien surveillance feeds. Embedded deep within the Thalzar's ranks, Cypher had risked everything to uncover the darkest secrets of the alien empire. Her fingers flew across a hollow keyboard, decrypting data that chilled her to the core. Command, she transmitted. In a broken human signal, the Thalzar are preparing a weapon of mass annihilation capable of erasing entire star systems. Target, Earth. Silence answered her message. On the ground, Elena's comm crackled. We've got confirmation. The galaxy's fate hangs on this. Back in the trenches, the air was thick with smoke and the sharp tang of ozone. Elena's squad faced another onslaught, this time from a newly deployed Thalzar mechanized unit, towering constructs armed with plasma cannons and reinforced armor. Get to cover, Elena shouted. They ducked behind shattered walls as the machines unleashed blasts that tore through the landscape. With grim determination, Elena hurled a homemade EMP grenade crafted from scavenged tech. The device erupted in a pulse of blue energy, short-circuiting the nearest mech systems. It stumbled, collapsing in a shower of sparks. We buy time, she said grimly. On the surface of Earth, Admiral Varenko monitored these battles with a mixture of pride and anxiety. Jericho's relentless analysis poured in data streams, strategies, casualty reports, enemy movements. Guerrilla warfare is holding the line, Helena said, but the stakes have never been higher. If the Thalzar unleash their superweapon, everything changes. Her eyes flicked to a live feed from Cypher's encrypted channel. We have to act, Helena said. Prepare a strike team for extraction and immediate sabotage. No hesitation. Elena's squad fought their way through enemy lines to the data vault. Inside, racks of glowing crystals pulsed with encrypted files, technical schematics, communications logs, and most dangerously, details of the Thalzar superweapon. Download complete, Elena said, voice steady despite exhaustion. A sudden alarm echoed through the vault. They're on to us! Explosions rocked the facility as alarms blared. Thalzar reinforcements swarmed in. Exfiltrate now, Elena ordered. Back in orbit, the Sovereign Fury's drone swarms launched, intercepting enemy reinforcements before they could reach the planet. Kara Mendoza led a team of elite soldiers, their sleek dropship slicing through the atmosphere, ready to extract Elena's squad. The extraction was chaotic. Gunfire streaking past, explosions shaking the landing zone, but human ingenuity and grit prevailed. As the dropships lifted off, Elena looked back at the burning ruins. This war is far from over, she murmured. On board the flagship, Admiral Varenko studied the recovered data. The Thalzar weapon, called the Void Shard, harnessed dark energy to collapse stars, obliterating entire systems in seconds. We need to find a way to stop it, Helena said, voice grim. Jericho's voice replied, cold and precise. Probability of success without direct assault negligible. Recommend immediate offensive operations. Helena stared at the stars. Humanity had fought back from the brink, but the deadliest battle was still ahead. As the war raged on, whispers spread through human and alien worlds alike. Earth's fury was unstoppable. They were not just survivors, they were a reckoning. And the stars themselves would burn with the fire of humanity's vengeance. The battle had shifted from open warfare to shadows, sabotage, and whispers. Earth's surviving fleets prowled the edges of Thalzar-controlled space, striking fast and vanishing like ghosts. Every victory was a spark, every loss a scar etched deep into humanity's soul. Aboard the Sovereign Fury, Admiral Helena Varenko stood before the command holoscreen, absorbing the latest reports. The stolen data from Clyra 5 had revealed not just the Void Shard's power, but a terrifying vulnerability. The core reactor's overcharge sequence. If they could trigger it prematurely, it would destroy the weapon, and likely the ship housing. I-2, prepare an assault team, Helena commanded. This is our chance to strike the heart of the beast. In a cramped briefing room lit only by tactical displays, Kara Mendoza and Captain Rena Chen studied the mission plan. Their team would infiltrate the Thalzar dreadnought Jarak, the flagship carrying the Void Shard. This ship is a fortress, Rena warned. Sensors, drones, energy shields, penetrating it won't be easy. Kara nodded, her eyes steely. We don't get to choose easy. We get to choose whether we survive. The squad was a blend of hardened veterans and fresh recruits, each driven by the memory of fallen loved ones, each fueled by the unbreakable will to protect Earth. In the eerie silence of space, the Sovereign Fury approached the Jarak under the cloak of an ion storm. Lightning arcs danced across the void, masking their movements. Stealth mode engaged, the pilot reported. Closing to docking range. Inside the enemy ship, the corridors hummed with alien tech. Walls lined with glowing glyphs and the faint pulse of the Void Shard's energy core. Kara led the squad through narrow passages, every shadow a potential ambush. The air was thick with the scent of ozone and the cold hum of power conduits. Suddenly, a squad of Thalzar warriors appeared. Plasma blades drawn. Contact, Kara shouted, firing her railgun. The hall erupted into chaos. Blasts and clashes echoed as humans and aliens fought tooth and nail. Back on the Sovereign Fury, Admiral Varenko's eyes never left the tactical feed. Jericho's calculations flowed in real time, predicting enemy, reinforcements optimizing squad movements, even overriding human commands when necessary. The AI's cold voice broke the silence. Probability of mission success, 42%. Recommend immediate support deployment. Helena hesitated but nodded. Deploy drone swarms and orbital bombardment at my command. Inside the Jarak, Kara's team reached the core chamber. The void. Shard pulsed like a malevolent star, tendrils of dark energy weaving through containment fields. Captain Rena set explosives around the reactor. "This is it," she said, voice tight. Kara checked her comm. "Extraction team, status?" "En route," came the reply. Suddenly, an alarm blared. The ship's AI had detected the intrusion. Security lockdown engaged. A mechanical voice, intoned. Heavy blast doors slammed shut, sealing their escape. Outside, orbital defenses flared. The Jarak retaliated with volleys of plasma and ion cannon fire. The Sovereign Fury shook violently. "Hold the line," Helena barked. "Give them everything we've got." Drone swarms darted through space, engaging enemy fighters in a deadly ballet of speed and firepower. Trapped inside the core chamber, Kara's squad fought off waves of alien reinforcements. Time was bleeding away. "Explosive set," Rena reported. "Get ready to move," Kara ordered. The countdown began. On board the Sovereign Fury, a sudden tremor rattled the ship. The Void Shard's core was destabilizing. "Explosion imminent," Jericho announced. Helena gritted her teeth. "Everyone clear. The blast zone." Back in the core chamber, the squad sprinted for the exit as the explosives detonated. The Void Shard erupted in a blinding explosion, tearing through the ship's hull and sending shockwaves that rocked the battlefield. Kara's team barely escaped through emergency tunnels, ejecting into space just as the Jarak began to break. Apart adrift in a small escape pod, Kara stared out at the collapsing enemy flagship, a fierce smile breaking across her face. Kara Mendoza's escape pod drifted silently through the void, the shattered remnants of the Jarak glowing like dying stars behind her. Around her, the cold emptiness of space felt endless, and yet, within her chest, a fire burned fiercer than ever. "They underestimated us," she muttered, fingers tightening on the pod's control stick. "They always do." Back on the Sovereign Fury, Admiral Helena Varenko paced the command deck, her mind racing through every possibility. The destruction of the Jarak was a monumental victory, yet it came at a cost. Communications with Kara's squad had gone dark moments before the explosion. "Locate the pod," Helena ordered. "Bring them home." The ship's sensors flared as the escape pod's faint signature was detected drifting near a derelict asteroid field. In the shadowed depths of that field, Kara's pod slipped through twisting tunnels of rock and ice. The Thalzar had used the asteroid belt as a hidden staging ground, a forgotten graveyard of lost ships and secrets. Her comm crackled to life. "Kara, this is Cypher. We've hacked into local systems. There's an underground resistance base on one of the larger asteroids. I'm sending coordinates. Can you make it?" Kara nodded to herself. "On my way." Meanwhile, aboard the Sovereign Fury, tensions were rising. Jericho's algorithms had flagged a troubling pattern. The Thalzar warlord Karjek was consolidating power, rallying fragmented fleets into a counteroffensive that could crush humanity's momentum. Helena stared at the tactical map, her voice grim. "If Karjek strikes Earth again before we're ready, it'll mean annihilation." Captain Rena Chen leaned forward. "We need to disrupt his command structure, hit where it hurts." "Exactly," Helena said. "This war isn't just fought on battlefields. It's in shadows, in sabotage, in guerrilla strikes." Kara's pod docked with the asteroid base, a cavernous hollow carved beneath the surface, filled with flickering lights and the hum of human and alien allies working side by side. She was greeted by Cypher, whose eyes gleamed with the knowledge of countless secrets. "Welcome to the rebellion's heart." Kara took a deep breath, surrounded by faces hardened by loss but unbroken in spirit. "We've dealt them a blow," she said. "But this war is far from over." Cypher nodded. "Karjek is planning something worse than we imagined. A weapon that could erase Earth from the stars. On the asteroid base, plans were made. Humans and liberated aliens forged alliances, pooling technology and tactics. Engineers worked to modify captured Thalzar vessels. Scientists studied the data from the Void Shard's destruction to develop countermeasures. Elena Vasquez, now recovered from earlier wounds, joined Kara and Cypher. The galaxy is waking up, she said. We're not just fighting for Earth anymore. We're fighting for freedom. Far from the rebellion, Karjek seethed in his war chamber, his claws clenched around a glowing hollow map of the galaxy. The loss of the Jarak was a bitter wound, but not the end. They think they can defy me, he growled. I will burn their homes, shatter their alliances, and drown their worlds in fire. His voice was a promise, a dark echo of war. Back on the Sovereign Fury, Admiral Varenko addressed her officers. This war will test everything we are, she said. But we are not just fighting for survival. We're fighting for a future written by our own hands. Jericho's cold voice added. Probability of ultimate victory, increasing. Human unpredictability remains the decisive factor. Helena smiled faintly. Humanity never forgets. We never forgive. And we never surrender. As the asteroid, base's defenses powered up and the fleet prepared for the next wave. Kara looked to the stars, scarred but unyielding. They attacked Earth first, she whispered once more, and we will make sure it's their last mistake. The cold expanse of space stretched endlessly as the combined human and rebel fleet emerged from the asteroid belt's shadow. The battered ships, some hastily retrofitted alien vessels, others sleek human warships, formed a ragged spear pointed straight at Karjek's heart, the fortress world of Draxus Prime. Admiral Helena Varenko stood on the bridge of the Sovereign Fury, her eyes locked on the holomap flickering before her. The moment of reckoning was at hand. This is what we've been fighting for, she said softly. This is where we make them pay for every world they've crushed, every life they've stolen. Captain Rena Chen adjusted her headset as the fleet prepared for the assault. Intel confirms heavy defenses including automated dreadnoughts and orbital annihilation cannons. This won't be a quick fight. Kara Mendoza, battle-worn but unbroken, checked her gear one last time. We don't have to win fast, she said. We just have to win. Below the swirling storm clouds of Draxus Prime, Karjek's war council convened. His eyes blazed with rage and cunning. They come to die on my doorstep, he hissed. But we will turn their ashes into legend. His advisors, a mix of loyal generals and scheming warlords, nodded. The fortress world's defenses were ready, and the Void Shard's remnants were being repurposed into a new weapon. The battle erupted with fury. Plasma blasts tore through the void as drone swarms collided with Thalzar interceptors. Human fighters wove through enemy fire, weaving death with precision strikes. On the Sovereign Fury, Admiral Varenko coordinated every move with ruthless efficiency. Focus fire on the dreadnought's reactors, disrupt their power grid. Explosions blossomed across the enemy fleet, but reinforcements poured in relentlessly. On the ground, Kara led an elite strike team deployed via stealth dropships. Their mission: infiltrate the fortress and sabotage the new weapon before it could be unleashed. They moved through dark corridors, bypassing security systems and slipping past patrols. Each step was a gamble. One mistake meant death. As they reached the weapons core chamber, alarms screamed to life. Thalzar soldiers flooded the halls, plasma blades drawn. Hold the line, Kara shouted. The firefight was brutal. Energy met metal in a deadly dance. Kara fought with desperation, every shot a promise of vengeance. Back in orbit, the Sovereign Fury took heavy damage. Fires raged along the hull, systems flickered, but Admiral Varenko refused to retreat. This is the crucible, she said. We either burn here or we rise. Inside the fortress, the squad reached the core, an ominous machine humming with raw power. Rena planted charges while Kara covered her back. Charges set, Rena whispered. Get out, Kara ordered. They sprinted through collapsing corridors as the charges detonated, shaking the fortress to its core. The explosion rocked the planet. The new weapon was destroyed, but the cost was high. Kara's team was scattered, many wounded, or lost. As the battle raged, a transmission cut through the chaos. This is Karjek, the warlord's voice thundered. You have shattered my weapons, but you cannot break my will. Prepare for annihilation. Admiral Varenko's gaze was steel. Then let them come. We will be waiting. The war had reached its darkest hour, but humanity's fire would not be extinguished. The void trembled with the thunder of war. The battered fleet circled Draxus Prime like hungry wolves, the remnants of the shattered Jarak and other lost vessels falling away behind them. On board the Sovereign Fury, Admiral Helena Varenko stood rigid, her gaze locked on the distant planet shrouded in swirling storms and fire. Karjak's final assault is imminent, Jericho's voice announced, cold and unyielding. All defensive systems are at maximum capacity. Helena's jaw tightened. Then we'll meet him head-on. This is the end of the line for the Thalzar. In the ruined fortress below, Cara Mendoza gathered the surviving members of her strike team. Wounded but unbowed, their eyes reflected the same fierce determination. We stopped the weapon, but the war isn't over, Cara said. Karjak still thinks he can destroy us. We'll prove him wrong. Suddenly, the skies above Draxus Prime ignited. A fleet of colossal Thalzar dreadnoughts, larger and more menacing than any before, descended like a shadow of doom. Karjak's voice crackled over all channels. You fight for survival. I fight for domination. Your resistance ends here. Admiral, Varenko issued orders with practiced calm. All ships, form defensive rings. Deploy drone swarms and target the dreadnought's weak points. Focus fire on the lead ship. This fight will decide the galaxy's fate. The battle was cataclysmic. Plasma and ion blasts tore through space, starships collided, and the darkness shimmered with explosions. Jericho's calculations predicted dwindling odds. But human pilots, fueled by rage and hope, defied the cold numbers. They maneuvered with unparalleled courage and creativity, sacrificing themselves to draw enemy fire, exploiting minute weaknesses and adapting tactics on the fly. Aboard the flagship Sovereign Fury, Helena coordinated the defense with Jericho's guidance but relied on human instinct when the AI hesitated. This is no longer a war of algorithms, she said. It's a war of heart and grit. Meanwhile, Kara's team moved stealthily through the fortress ruins, racing to intercept Karjak himself. Their mission: capture or kill the warlord and shatter the command structure that bound the Thalzar forces. The corridors echoed with the clash of battle as they confronted elite guards and mechanized soldiers. At the command chamber, they found Karjak waiting, towering, armored, and radiating fury. The final duel was brutal and relentless. Kara fought with everything she had, every move a testament to humanity's unyielding spirit. Karjak's strength was terrifying, but her resolve was fiercer. With a desperate maneuver, she plunged her plasma blade through a gap in his armor, the warlord's roar echoing as he fell. The death of Karjak sent shockwaves through the Thalzar forces. Confusion and fear spread like wildfire. Admiral Varenko seized the moment. All units push forward, break their lines. The enemy fleet faltered, then shattered under the relentless human assault. As the dust settled, silence reclaimed the stars. The galaxy was battered but alive. On the Sovereign Fury, Helena allowed herself a rare smile. They attacked Earth first, she said softly, but we made sure it was their last mistake. On the surface of Earth, survivors gathered, beneath a sky that finally held the promise of peace. Humanity had faced extinction and emerged victorious, not just through strength but through unity, resilience, and an unbreakable will. In the months that followed, the galaxy began to heal. Former enemies forged new alliances, sharing knowledge and resources. The scars of war remained, but so did hope. As the stars burned bright overhead, Cara Mendoza stood at the edge of a quiet field, looking to the horizon.